Arena Rule 6, scoring. Okay, so the team with the most points at the end of the game wins the game. That's obvious, but it has to be in the rule, so it's in. Now you know. Goals by handicap count the same as goals scored in the arena. So that's obvious as well, has to be in the rule. Okay, goals that are shot from outside the 25-yard lines count as 2 points as long as they either go directly in the goal without touching anyone or anything, or they hit the wall and go directly in the goal without touching anyone or anything. Okay? If it touches the roof or the ceiling or somebody's mallet, it only counts as one if it goes in the goal. Okay, so it's got to be a pure shot. Okay, either directly in or off the wall and then in. Your umpire and your game officials on the side will help determine if it's a 2-point goal or 1-point goal. There's a little caveat to this rule. Penalty ones. Okay, the penalty one will count as 1 point if the goal was going to be 1 point, but for the foul. The penalty one will count as 2 points if the goal would have been 2 points, but for the foul. Make sense? Otherwise, it would be unfair. And of course, still with the penalty one, you have a throw in on the 15 with the goal to the umpire's right, and you don't change directions. That's going to be covered in penalty ones, but might as well say so here. So that doesn't change at all. Okay, in order for the ball to be counted as a goal, it must cross the goal line. Completely cross the goal line. If it's touching any part of the goal line, it is not a goal. It is still in play. It must cross the goal line, which is the frontal plane of the goal. It's not required to bounce off the back side of the goal, although it usually does. And a caveat to this rule, if there's any variances because of your facility, so if you have painted on goals or something that's different than what the USPA recommends, and then you have already let everyone know what a goal is in your arena. Okay, so you'll have to abide by that house rule, if you will. Okay? If the game officials, meaning the goal judge and the umpires, can't tell if it's a goal or not, or they can't tell if it's a 2-point or a 1-point goal, the benefit of the doubt goes to the defending team. So the default is, if we can't tell it's a goal, it's not. If we can't tell it's 2 points, it's only 1. That's how it works. If the umpires blow the whistle because they think a goal was scored and they're not sure, then when they put the ball back in play, let's say it's no goal, they'll throw it in at the 15. If it is a goal, they'll either go to the center or they'll do the continuous play option. You'll do whatever you do for that tournament when a goal is scored. But if they determine that it was not a goal, then it'll just be a throw in at the 15. If a goal is scored approximately at the same time that a whistle sounds, okay, there's 3 possibilities. The goal will count if the foul was called against the defending team, whether or not the foul was confirmed. The goal will count. Seems fair, right? Second thing that can happen, it will be no goal if the foul was on the attacking team, obviously, and the defending team will get an appropriate penalty shot. And if it doesn't specify in the rule, but if the foul was called on the attacking team and it was no foul, then of course you would count the goal because there was no foul. The third possibility is a whistle goes for some other reason, but the goal is scored. Maybe inadvertent whistle, maybe tack time, maybe something else. The goal will count if it's approximately the same time as the whistle. So those are your 3 possibilities. And all you really need to know about that is that the umpire is going to make that determination. But if you're an umpire, this is good information for you. Okay, so the host tournament committee has to make one more election under this rule, is what's going to happen after goals are scored. Okay, you have 2 choices. We've always had 2 choices, but nobody paid any attention to them, including myself. So obviously, the standard way is you have a goal scored and you go back to the center and the umpire bowls the ball in at the center. There's another option. It's been in the rule book for a long time. I have done a couple of arena tournaments with this option called continuous play. For an umpire, it's great because you don't have to do hardly any throw-ins. For the players, if you're doing something like this, you may want to consider reducing the time, the chukker length, because this can be very exhausting for the horses. So anyway, continuous play works like this. A standard play, goal is scored, back to the center for a throw-in. Everybody knows that. Continuous play is a little different. A goal is scored. Okay, there's no change in direction because you're in the arena. And then the ball sitting there near the goal or in the goal. The defending team grabs the ball, pulls it out a little bit, and then sort of knocks it in, if you will. Even though technically you're still on the field, they have 5 seconds to do this. They can set themselves up and they have 5 seconds to play it. So a goal is scored by the attacking team. Immediately the defending team pulls the ball out and plays it. Regular delay of game rule, 5 seconds is in place. And then you carry on playing. So it's fast. Goal scored, boom, you're playing again. The only thing is the defending team, or the team that's not hitting, that just scored, has to give the hitter 5 yards space, just like any other penalty shot, to go ahead and hit this. I guess you would call it a knock-in, or continuous play, change of possession, or whatever, following a goal. So before the tournament begins, the host tournament committee will make that election, and you'll know how it's done. And if you have never done continuous play, I recommend your club try it once. It's a lot of fun, easy on the umpire, and there's no downtime. A lot of players do like that time between the goal and the center to regroup their team. But I would try it once, maybe in a tournament that doesn't mean anything, or there's no prize money, just to see how it works. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, with that being said, that's Rule 6, scoring.